What's up guys, welcome back. OCG metagame breakdown for like end of May, early June 2017. So again, to refresh our memories, these were the results from exactly 2 weeks ago. We had back then, like half of May, about 72 deck lists, and as you probably remember, Zodiac True Draco back then sitting at about 30%. So that again, that means about 30%, a third of all the decks, available decks, and topped decks, so only top 8 or top 16 from a couple of tournaments back in the OCG were pretty much True Draco Zodiac hybrids, but quickly followed by True Draco Demise, you know, the anti-meta deck, followed by the Dinosaur hybrid, the Dinosaur True Kings, and then back then somewhat of a new deck, quote-unquote a new deck, which was the Spellbook engine featuring Wind Witches, and most of the time splashed in with True Dracos as well. Sometimes with Invoked, but most of the time it was with True Dracos. Back then sitting at about 11%, and the last top 5 deck was Pure Zoo, sitting back then at about 10%. But now, 2 weeks later, we've had about 126 deck lists. That's actually a lot, and I'll show them here in the background. All the links for these deck lists will be in the video description. Big shout out again, of course, to the Yu-Gi-Oh! Organization website, to Road of the King again, as always, basically, and beyond the Duel D summons block, if I'm not mistaken. So again, 126 deck lists, the most, yeah, nothing new for at least the card releases. Code of the Duelist being the last major update for the card releases, and still the OCG April 1st, 2017 ban list with, you know, Dryden band, Barrage band, etc, etc. And these are the new results. The top 3, not too many big changes, still sitting at about 30% is Zodiac True Draco, again pretty much the same, right, with all the hand traps. I believe the most notable card here to mention for Zodiacs in general, or at least this deck, Zodiac True Draco hybrids, is Mind Control. As we saw from a couple of weeks ago, Mind Control, which is currently at 3 in the OCG, is becoming a very big, maybe problematic card, since, you know, with the release of Proxy Dragon, which only needs 2 effect monsters, if I'm not mistaken, to link summon on the field. Mind controlling your opponent's monster, preferably something like, you know, Masterpiece, if it's not unaffected by spells. You can easily get rid of your opponent's monsters, and you know, if you're playing Zodiacs on your own, you can just overlay your opponent's Zodiac monster with your own Zodiac monster. So Mind Control is becoming more and more of a staple card, either in the main or side deck. And you know, as we see here with Zodiacs, depending on which tournament you look at, most high caliber tournaments, Zodiac variants are pretty much sitting at about like 40 or 50% of the whole metagame, main decking a couple of 2 or 3 Mind Control. 3 is a bit too much, but main decking Mind Control definitely gives you a big advantage over your opponent's deck, if they are running Zodiac Beast, that is. But side decking Mind Control or main decking, it's definitely something that a lot of OCG players are starting to do, seeing from past few weeks. Second place, which the deck was third place a couple of weeks ago, Dinosaurs are again on the rise. Again, they are, at least for the TCG here, Dinosaurs are like fading away out of a format, out of a metagame, but here in the OCG, Dinosaur True King variants, mainly the Yang Zing variant, is definitely gaining popularity. Show a couple of builds here in the background, sitting at about 21%. So that's all the Dinosaur hybrids, but again, mainly the Yang Zing variant is the most popular slash the best variant, since it's taking up the most top spots, if not first places here in a couple of OCG tournaments. Most notable here is the list of Shunsuke Hiyama, you know, the current world champion, and of course the world champion from last year, and the runner-up the year before that. He, can we say, piloted this list. Most notable here is the addition of Return to the Frontlines, you know, the new Call of the Haunted, here in his True King Yang Zing Dino variant. You know, yeah, Return to the Frontlines is pretty much a new Call of the Haunted, and it gives this deck a big boost. His teammate was also running the same variant, and they both ended up first and second place. Well, Shunsuke ended up first, his teammate ended up second place. And of course, most notable thing here is Return to the Frontlines being in the main deck over the Fire True King monster. The fact here is that, you know, Yang Zings do have access to, at least do have the ability to play during your opponent's turn, to synchro summon during your opponent's turn, so activate Return to the Frontlines to reborn your Danglong and get a search off of your Danglong. Preferably it's going to be your Yang Zing path, you know, the pot of Everest for Yang Zings. And of course this gives you the opportunity or the possibility, if you have one of the regular Yang Zing monsters on the field, to synchro summon during your opponent's turn and, you know, to go for Baxia and bounce back a couple of cards during your opponent's turn. So the fact that this deck, or at least ending in Return to the Frontlines, gives you the opportunity, or gives you the chance to play during your opponent's turn, is just a big boost, as we saw with Monarchs last year. You know, Aether, Stormfort during your opponent's play definitely was back then one of the strongest plays during the format. Same here, Return to the Frontlines, it gives the deck access to play during your opponent's turn, and on top of that gives you more pluses and more searches, and, you know, yeah, it just recycles pretty much everything, at least for the Yang Zings here in the deck. So a very nice deck. We might see this in other deck lists popping up as well. And then third place, the Maestro Draco. Not too many changes, as we all know. And then last, sitting at about 11% still, is the Windwitch Spellbook build, most of the time with True Draco, but with Invoked is also an option. And last to close the top 5, Pure Zoo lost a lot of favor to Dinosaurs, but Trickstars, sitting at about 5%. Here is an example list. We can somewhat say this is the only Link deck actually putting in some result, since Stargrails do have a couple of tops, but not as many compared to Tricksters. Nothing as, for honorable mentions, and for row decks, sitting at about 18%. But outside of that, again, if you want to see more lists, feel free to check out the links in the video description. Most important notes is, first of all, Mind Control being a very strong and powerful card in the OCG. The fact that you can just splash it in your main deck thanks to Proxy Dragon, or, you know, side deck it if you're playing Zodiacs, well, main deck it if the format is becoming more and more Zodiac oriented. And the second thing here is, Return to the Frontlines being a very nice deck for the True King Dinosaur Yang Zing variant. Okay, guys, that's it. Thanks for watching, and feel free to leave a comment or like if you enjoyed the video. Lithium signing out. Peace.